rousing success so far. Series wins in Colorado and Cincinnati, ascending to the best record in the league. The last stop, Miami, where Giancarlo Stanton and the red-hot Marlins await. Jordan Zimmermann gets the call. It's the opener on Masson. It is sizzling in Miami. Made it to triple digits in South Florida today. Roof's going to be closed to give us a little cool temperatures, and it's a hot night for a stroll to the ballpark at Marlins Park. The Nats are on a bit of a roll themselves. Beth, winning percentage in the league at 57 and 45. 16 of 23. They keep winning series. Only 2 series losses in the last 16. Bob and FP, welcome to Miami. And the Marlins have made a statement. They're only 2 games under 500, 7 back. They see this as a big series.
Well, they're coming off a good road trip. They took 3 out of 4 from the Braves. They swept the Astros. They've won 7 out of their last 8 games. They're 5-2 on the road trip. That's their best 7-game road trip in franchise history. So everybody contributed to the Marlins' success. It's not the main guys, Giancarlo Stanton, Casey McGee. It's everybody else. They're playing good baseball.
Yeah, and Stanton not that hot lately. Other teams kind of pitching around him. Let's talk about pitching. The Nats starters in Cincinnati, fantastic, and 2 of them became 10-game winners.
Well, it started with Tanner Roark on Friday night. 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 6 strikeouts, and a 94-pitch gem against the Reds, a team who is down offensively. He passed the baton to Gio Gonzalez on the Saturday afternoon game. He went 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 8 strikeouts, and a tough 1-0 loss to Johnny Cueto, who was just as good. And then Doug Fister yesterday, maybe the best one of them all. 7 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 5 strikeout effort. Get this, 23 innings by Nats starters in that Cincinnati series. They gave up just 10 hits and 2 runs in 23 innings. As good as it gets, 7 innings, going deep into games and picking up the bullpen big time.
When we left Florida to start the regular season, had we told you that Roark and Fister would be 10-game winners by the end of July, you might have thought the National League East would be a runaway. So you might say, time for those other 3 guys to start winning a lot of games. Jordan Zimmermann's had some good moments in this ballpark in his career with the arm and with his bat.
And he's coming off a rusty outing, what he called it, against the Rockies last time. He was wild with his command in the strike zone. Threw a lot of balls right down the middle. He looked to right the ship tonight here against the Fish.
Jordan just 6-5, ERA solid at 3.20 in 20 starts. He's 5-3 career against Miami. There's very little mystery here. He has started 14 career games against the Fish, and here comes another one tonight. Final series of the road trip underway. The Nats are 27-25 on the road. In the division, Washington 5 over, Miami 5 under. They're trying to make a statement with the Nats enjoying the lead. And by the way, Atlanta won their game today. Except for that game against Baltimore, the makeup game on a Monday at home, all of the games against the division over the next 2.5 weeks. Marlins are 7 of 8, 4 in a row, including that sweep at Houston. And Jordan Zimmermann, the last 2 years, has won 4 in a row with 2 complete games against the Fish. Overall, he's 5-3 with a 3.94. Now, Giancarlo Stanton, obviously, FP, the big guy you don't want to let beat you. Not exactly hot lately, but he's always put up good numbers against a good Washington pitching staff.
Well, he put up good numbers, and he hits the ball a long ways. And it's a guy that you got to be careful with in this Marlins lineup. But when you look at the last 28 days, he's 17 for his last 80. That's a .213 average with just 2 home runs and 9 RBIs.
If you're looking for a key matchup tonight, it's maybe Adam LaRoche. Now, against the Marlins, 10 for 27 against Nathan Eovaldi, 5 for 11, a home run and 4 career RBIs.
And feeling real good after that big hit yesterday against the Reds.
Adam LaRoche had a 2-run single that was the difference in that ball game. So Denard Span coming in, 29 doubles, 3rd in the league, 36 multi-hit games, 2nd in the league. He's coming off a series in Cincinnati when he had 5 hits in 10 at-bats, and he was on base 9 times. The outside. Looks like something out of the future, doesn't it? Marlins Park. Nats fans traveling. Met some from Richmond early this afternoon. And the Nationals have a good following, and why not? They're hot. Visit trainsearch.com to find your local train comfort specialist dealer. Hard to stop a train. Really hard. 77 with the roof closed in here. 88 and quite muggy outside. Nats hitting .250. 6th in the league in runs, 7th in home runs. Ian Desmond on the road. Well, you can't say he's home cooking all year. Half the RBIs on the road, the other half at home. 62 total. 5th in the National League in runs batted in. And he's got that batting average over .250. And we think it will continue to rise till it gets up to his customary .275 to .280. Here's Nathan Eovaldi, 24 years of age, and a young pitcher still kind of evolving as well.
Evolving, and I see what you did right there. Fastball 96 miles an hour, slider 87. One of the best fastballs in the league, but his starts are determined by his off speed. He'll show you the fastball early. It doesn't play quite as hard as it looks. And he's looking to snap a 3-game losing streak that spans 4 starts against the Nats. The last 2 starts, he's allowed 13 earned runs over 11 innings against the Nats. But like I said, they're talking about catching the Nationals right now after coming off their 5-2 road trip. It was the best in Marlins history. They're playing well. They're feeling good about themselves, and the Nats have a hot opponent here for the next 3 days.
And we think they're probably playing a tougher team here than they were the last 3 days. But hey, road wins worth their weight in gold. Denard Span takes one. Well off the plate. We're underway right on time at 7:10.
Well, they went into Atlanta and took 3 out of 4.
That was very strong. Span at 288. Ball 2. And against Nathan Eovaldi, he has a walk, 2 hits, and 10 official at bats. Eovaldi career 2-2, 5.06 ERA and 4 career starts against Washington. 3-0 according to Brian O'Nora, who's in his 18th year. Crew chief is at third base, 23-year veteran Jeff Kellogg. Ben May, rookie umpire at second. DJ Rayburn, second year at first.
Denard walked 4 times yesterday. He's looking to start this one up with a base on balls too.
And he will pop this one up to the left side. McGee, Echeverria, shortstop has the angle. Danny Echeverria makes that play in foul ground.
There's defense for the Marlins tonight against the Washington Nationals. Yelich, Ozuna, Stanley outfield. Echeverria, McGee left side. Valdespin, Jones right side. And Jared Saltalamacchia behind the plate.
And I'm not sure I've ever seen a catcher who's played in 72 games who has 12 errors on the year. 3 pass balls. Saltalamacchia struggling defensive.
Well, he's the offensive catcher. He's the guy that supplies the offense. He's been swinging the bat better of late. And their other catcher, who's been doing a great job with the back end of the staff, Jeff Mathis, is a guy known for his defense.
Yeah. A lot of years in the American League for Mathis, a former Angel. Saltalamacchia with Boston last year. And Anthony Rendon on an 0-1 pitch to right field. It'll add to his .279 batting average, and now he's 3 for 10 career against Eovaldi.
Now there goes a no-hitter. And Anthony Rendon taking care of that early, getting on top of a high fastball from Nathan Eovaldi. And a much-needed single to right field. Building on that great at-bat he had yesterday in Cincinnati, where he saw a lot of pitches and finally got a single to right.
Here's Jason Worth. Coming off a weekend in Cincinnati when he was only 1 for 9. But he walked 3 times, hit by a couple of pitches. Key walk yesterday with a good at bat to get the Nats on top before LaRoche drove in 2 more. He has 2 career RBIs and 3 hits against Eovaldi.
Pitch was supposed to be away. It was about a 2-glove miss from the outside to the inside.
And then a nasty breaking ball at 85.
Well, that's the pitch. If he's got it going, it's going to be a tough night. We talked to Marlins people that see this guy pitch every 5th day. They said if his slider's on, that's when he's good. But more times than not, it isn't, and that's when he gets hit hard. Since the start of June, Eovaldi is 1-4 with a 5.09. And the Marlins have dropped 9 of his last 10 starts.
.347 in July for Jason Worth. 25 hits, 17 of them for extra bases. 22 runs batted in. Times that by 6 and you have a crazy pace for an entire year. Ball 1 upstairs. So the Nats lead in the East down to a game as the Braves behind Irvin Santana shut out San Diego today. He's 10-6. Kimbrel got his 32nd save. Evan Gattis hit his 17th home run. Rendon, Span, Desmond very efficient with their stolen bases this year. Anthony's 10 for 11.
And you could definitely run on Saltalamacchia.
His caught stealing percentage 19%. Rendon holding and Worth able to get out there and foul off. that breaking pitch.
The only thing about Saltalamacchia behind the plate, Carp, is that with Evaldi on the mound, he's tough to run on. Very quick to the plate. You can steal on him, but the pitcher, he's only allowed just one stolen base this year. That's tied for the third fewest among National League starters, so quick to the plate.
Pretty good take. Counts even 2-2. Well, these are a couple of ball clubs that have guys with really good numbers, a bunch of them against the other. Worth, Desmond, and of course Stanton on the other side with amazing career numbers against the Nats. And this one way outside, 3-2. So he went to 3 balls on Span before popping him up. Rendon got a base hit. Giancarlo, 21 career homers against Washington. He and Jordan Zimmerman will be quite a matchup tonight as well. Runner holding. Worth, right field line. Slicing away from Stanton, and that is just foul in the corner.
How far foul was it? I lost sight of it from where we're sitting. I couldn't tell.
Yeah, we've got a blind spot right field corner from our vantage point.
I thought this was going to be fair. Must have a lot of inside-out rotation on it. Let's see where it hits. Pretty close.
Yep.
And the reason I knew it was going to be close, Jason Worth took off. He was around first base. Rendon was digging around third. He would have scored easily. So do it again.
It'll be at least a 9-pitch at bat. And Rendon holding again. This one will be out of play. Great battle by Worth here. Third man up. The Nats lead the season series over the Marlins 5-3. 2-1 here. We had a rainout in D.C. that'll have to be made up last week of the season against these guys.
Well, if you start Anthony Rendon, you're banking on contact based on the fact that Evaldi's so quick to the plate. You can bank on contract too because he can hit. He's going to get one of those someday.
He's going to make a lot of money.
Yep.
3-2, and Worth takes one that just misses. Fastball tailing inside. Great at bat by the number 3 hitter. Brings in LaRoche with 2 men aboard.
I was talking to Jason on the plane last night. He took a couple of close pitches yesterday in the Cincinnati game, and I asked him if he thought that after all these years of playing in the National League, if he's built up a reputation as a guy that knows the strike zone as good as umpires, and then he gets the benefit of the doubt on borderline calls, and he thought he would hope so. You know, and I said this yesterday during the broadcast. You've been around a while, and you show Major League umpires you know the zone, you get those calls. If you're just a brain-dead swinger and you swing at everything, you're not going to get the borderline pitch.
Yeah, that one could have gone either way, as the pitch track showed us. So here's LaRoche trying to have a good ending to a tough month. He's only hitting 171 in July. But against this pitcher, we showed you the matchup earlier, 5 of 11 with a home run, 4 RBIs. Curveball gets the outside edge. LaRoche drove in 3 runs in the Cincinnati series, and the Nationals only scored 8 the entire weekend.
Jason Worth, when he gets all the way out there, if he could stay with it just enough. He's watching Rendon. He gets into like a sprinter stance, and he's watching Rendon. If Rendon goes, he goes, and he's trying to get that backside jump, and there he goes.
Yeah, now both of them can just trot 90 feet ahead.
But that's your job as a trail runner when you have a base stealer in front of you at second base, to try to get the same jump he gets, and Jason Worth as good as it gets. Base run, you saw a good example right there. Ball in the dirt, wild pitch. Free 90 feet, you take it. Pretty good numbers.
Two 2-1 pitch. And LaRoche jumps back from ball 3. May 26th. This one went a long, long way.
I think that's the Marlins, and I think that's the Nats. I can't really see the logos or the hats, but that definitely is a beard, and that is Adam LaRoche. And that ball went far.
The only 2 runs the Nats scored that day. Eovaldi beat Roark 3-2 in that game. Steve Cishek got his 11th save. That was all the Nats could muster. They only had 3 hits the whole day. That one went a mile. Battle on now here, 3-2. This will be an interesting pitch selection. Right-handed batter on deck, who's amazing, by the way, with the bases loaded. Desmond. First base open, left-handed power hitter. And he goes with the breaking ball, and Adam, a good late reaction to foul it away. Might have been a strike.
Well, it's gearing up for 97. He got the slider and a 3-2 count, so he goes emergency hack, buys himself another pitch. And right now he's asking Brian Arnora, was that a strike?
Good to see the infield so busy and occupied in the top of the first. And LaRoche down the line, hooking. And 10 to 15 feet foul. He stood at home plate and watched it. It's 335 down the line in right field here.
Well, even though Eovaldi threw him a 3-2 slider to the pitch before, when a guy throws upper 90s, you still have to be ready for the heater. And LaRoche was. Just caught it out in front. Maybe a little off the plate in. Couldn't keep it fair.
Three-two, and LaRoche to center. A ways to go for Ozuna. He'll get there. Worth back to second. Home is Rendon. Nationals on top. Adam LaRoche, RBI number 55.
That's a pro at bat all the way. And you heard Kevin Franzen right there. That was great at bat, Rochi. And it was. And the reason I know whose voice that is I've only been with him every single day for 4 months now. What a great at bat by LaRoche.
So the Nats 42 out of 55 so far when they score first. That'll bring in Ian Desmond with Worth at second, 2 outs. Ian has 3 career hits and an RBI against Eovaldi.
Key to that at bat was fouling off the first 3-2 slider. That ball had notions of coming back for a called third. LaRoche went emergency hack, fouled it off, kept the at bat alive, and drove in the run. That's why that's a pro at bat.
Pitch number 27. First inning. Good fastball. Ian Desmond was 0 for 11 in Cincinnati before collecting a base hit up the middle his last AB yesterday. Quite a call for a struggling pitcher to get. 1-1. That was some rip by Ian Desmond. He's on top. And he's 5th in the league with 62 batted in. And Worth second. LaRoche just added 1, so we'll update Adam to 55. And even Ryan Zimmerman's total impressive in the limited playing time he's had. Desmond Reaching out, taking it. They have quieted down the ballpark here. And whether it's the old one or this new one, he's always hit well against Miami.
Well, the Nats have quieted it down, and all the people dressed like blue seats here tonight have quieted it down too.
Yeah, the Marlins are last in the National League in attendance. An announced attendance of 21,664. But the White Sox, the Indians, and the Rays in the American League all draw fewer people than Miami. So they're 27th out of 30.
It's blue seat giveaway night.
3-2. Desmond, that's well hit to right. Going over at Stanton, and he's got it. The Nats, pretty good first inning. They made the starter work long and hard for Jordan Zimmerman's one-run lead. And now he's driven in the first run of this Miami series. Marlins are 6th in the league in batting average. They've up to 5th in runs. Casey McGee, this guy's doing some big things. 330 against right-handed pitching. 35 multi-hit games. 318 at home. And he's the 5th leading hitter in the league at 310. Not hitting for power, but he's a base hit machine. Key matchup against Zimmerman tonight.
Yeah, the fastball averaging 94 from Jordan. Last start, no decision at Colorado on the 22nd. And he said he was rusty after the game. The command for Jordan, not what he's used to last time. Missed a lot in the strike zone. Gave up 8 hits, 4 runs against the Rockies. Got the no decision. 6 strikeouts, no walks. He likes to pitch against the Marlins. I saw this today before the game. The Nats' 3.07 ERA is the lowest in franchise history, including the Montreal years.
It's a great ERA for nearly 4 months of the season. Here's Christian Yelich. He's solid. We've always liked this 22-year-old outfielder from California since the first day we saw him. He's had a great July. 31 hits, the most in the league. And batting .341 this month. 280 overall. And he's 5 out of 8 against Zimmerman.
Even though you saw the .317 average against the Nationals, he's been a tough out.
Yeah.
You know, .317 is good average, but that doesn't take into account all the 8, 9, 10 pitch at bats, the walks he's gotten against the Nationals. He's proven to be one of the toughest hitters to get out all season long against these guys.
He can run 6 triples this year, top 4 in the league, and a little tapper that Jordan will wait on for that second hop.
Well, there's the defense. Danny Espinosa getting the 2nd consecutive start at second base. And Matt Williams said he's just going to keep rotating second baseman in, and whoever gets the job done is going to play between Franzen, Zach Walters, and Danny Espinosa. And Danny had 3 good at-bats yesterday. A little tricky in between hop right here. Watch this. Coming off the mound, and yeah, that's not easy.
Well, if you think the Nats have had a lot of second basemen, the Marlins have had 6, including Jordani Valdespin, who just got called up 8 games ago. And we remember him from 2 years ago when he was the greatest pinch hitter in the history of baseball for about a month.
Ever.
In fact, he had a pinch hit home run against Jordan Zimmerman that year. He's 6 for 24 as a Marlin. He can run, he can hit for some power. And Valdespin was hitting .270 at New Orleans with 15 steals when they called him up 9 days ago.
Really added a lot of energy into the Marlins lineup. And always a good player, just never really fit in the Mets' plans. You remember all the antics after some home runs. He got drilled a few times. Terry Collins had trouble kind of sending the message to him. He wanted to come out of the game. Terry Collins said, no, you're staying in the game. You're getting drilled. That's the way this goes up here. But he's found a home here in South Florida and done a nice job for these guys.
His first major league hit was a 3-run pinch hit homer against Jonathan Papelbon. And he just went crazy that year with 9 pinch hits, and 5 of them were home runs, most in Mets history. And as we said, 2 of those were against the Nats, 1 against Jordan Zimmerman.
Clipper the other one, if I remember right.
Yeah, you're right. Valdespin, 26 years of age. Leading winner in Nats history, looking for number 50 again. And a 1-2's in the dirt. Marlins signed him, Valdespin, as a minor league free agent last December. After he had 188 with the Mets and then 466 at their AAA New Orleans in just 16 games. Actually, that was Las Vegas, New Orleans this year for the Marlins. And the count goes to 3-2. And not the kind of guy you want to walk considering who's on deck. This ballpark, you can challenge Valdespin. Make him earn his way aboard ahead of Giancarlo.
Well, the kind of guy you want to walk is on deck.
No kidding.
But he's been scuffling lately. We'll knock on wood.
3-2. Fly to center. That's a can of corn in this ballpark. 2 outs.
Well, if you don't like watching far home runs, I can't help you. But for a little guy that couldn't hit them, I asked for these today because I want to see how far Giancarlo Stanton home runs went. This one, 484. So I'm going to live vicariously through Stanton. Watch out, center field camera. This one only 463. That was probably off the hands. Broken bat job. This one, 466. I think he was using a leadoff hitter's bat on that one. How about that first one? 484. My goodness.
Yeah. They told our camera guys, you will be safe in this ballpark out there in center field when it was built.
Well, I think the game plan for him, he's had trouble getting to the outside fastball lately. So you make him aware as you look at the dimensions here at Marlins Park and our favorite art in left center field. But you make him aware of the fastball and carp, then you go away. That's where his struggles have been lately. Crowd him hard, and then you can go hard away too.
Two-one. Couldn't get it.
Fastball in, slider away.
21 homers, 50 career RBIs against the Nats. Talking to Randy Nord during batting practice. Yeah, it's a big ballpark, but when the roof is closed and it's muggy and hot like it is in here, the ball will carry. But it's a park where you've got to hit it well to get it out.
But I think it was unofficially 126 degrees here in South Florida today. Whew. Pretty hot.
3-2. Got him. Breaking ball away. Able to hold on. Ramos. Bryce Harper has hit some tape measure shots in this yard. Nats lead 1-0.
we've seen here for a while. Then he came out of the All-Star break and he went with a more upright approach, kind of Brady Anderson-like without the leg kick. That one worked. We haven't seen that one, but then in Colorado, kind of a in between both of them, right? Standing up, then he crouches down the swing, and then this one, I call this the slow pitch softball or the fast pitch softball, slap it to short stance. He creeped up to the front of the box, and De La Rosa throw it by him, so stay tuned. Still trying to figure it out with different stances that he had in Cincinnati, too. Remember, he had the big leg kick in Cincinnati and 3 or 4 different stances in the course of the game yesterday, so he's searching.
Rice coming off a 1-for-10 series with walks, a couple of them in Cincinnati. That ball slicing out of play, pretty well struck into the left field corner. Count 0-2, top of the second underway. Nathan Eovaldi, first inning. A walk, a hit, a run given up, 31 pitches, only 18 strikes.
It's a good hack right there. I talked to Bryce about before the game. I said, hey, I've been talking about all your stances. And I know you're a field hitter. You're trying to figure things out. And he said, well, I'm just going a little Cal Ripken right now. And I told him to drop the violin stance up there tonight. Remember when Cal used to put the bat on his shoulder and do the violin back and forth? I said, never know.
Breaking ball, high in the air, deep center. Ozuna, catch it about 380 feet away.
Pretty aggressive swings that whole at bat by Bryce. I like the foot down early, and I like the approach right there. Kind of a little bit more open than the stances we showed you. And all good passes, even the foul ball down the left field line, the foul ball straight back, and that one to center. He didn't like it. Or his helmet.
Wilson Ramos, 360, 19 games since coming off the DL. Day off yesterday, hitting 305 overall. Left side, that'll be cut off by Casey McGee. 4 hitters in a row retired. First one was the LaRoche sac fly.
Oh, we're going to call you to action early tonight, folks. You know the hashtag Masson Fan Photos. You got a chance to have it shown in a future broadcast. That's brought to you by AT&T.
I think one thing that's not being talked about enough with this second base situation is that the fact that the Nats have a really good hitting ball club. You can have one spot in your order where you don't get a lot of production if they play great defense. That's what Danny Espinosa brings to the table right now. We hope the offense gets better. But you look at the other infield positions, the offense really good from all of the other 3. And I had a wise baseball man once tell me as that ball's running right in the air to Garrett Jones, if you have to have a shortstop and a catcher who really hit well, you don't have a real good baseball team. So right now, Espinosa struggling, but continues to play good D.
Last time out wasn't a great one for him. He went 5 innings, but he allowed 4 runs and 8 hits. It was his first start back after that biceps injury and after the All-Star break. And he was working on 10 days rest. And over the course of his career, Jordan has been a guy that has not pitched well on extra rest. He said after his last start that his fastball command just wasn't there for him. And you've seen in those numbers what happens when Jordan has even 1 or 2 days extra rest. He was working on 10 days rest that start. So he says that he's completely healthy coming out of that start. Matt Williams and Randy Nora both told me that they think that Jordan's just fine. It's just a matter of fastball command with him. And if he's a little too strong, he throws harder. That's just the way that it works with him. He's going to pump that fastball up there with higher velocity, but he's going to have less control of it. They feel that now that Jordan's back on a normal turn, he's had his normal bullpen session and can come in today on 4 days rest, they think that he'll be more along the lines of what they typically expect from him, guys.
Thank you, Dan. That's our AFCEA sideline report from AFCEA, the Association for Global Security Professionals.
Well, when you're on your normal day's rest, you're on your normal routine. And your arm feels hopefully the same it did the last start. When you get that rest and the ball's jumping out, you talk to pitchers. They like the fact that it's jumping out, but the command part is what is sacrificed there because they feel so strong.
17 pitches, 10 strikes, first inning. He's taking on one of the league's most efficient hitters right now, Casey McGee. A .257 career hitter's batting .310. His 124 hits, third most in the National League. He's just going to stroke that one out to left center. He's not hitting for any power. 2 home runs all year, but he is just getting on base like crazy.
Well, you see that swing and that approach right there. That's conducive to driving in runs. Doesn't try to do too much. He's a guy that's kind of embraced Marlins Park here and the spaciousness of it and used it to his advantage, actually.
And it's interesting they continue to bat him cleanup because somebody's got to be a threat behind Giancarlo to at least get hits.
Drive in runs.
Here's Garrett Jones, who's on a 5-game hitting streak with 7 base hits. He goes up packing.
It's a guy I think the Nats are planning on shifting. They just can't right now because of the base hit by McGee.
Former Pirate who hit just .233 in Pittsburgh last year. .252 though here with 11 homers, 40 RBIs, and a homer career against Zimmerman, 3 for 9 with 3 batted in. Nice gas up and away.
A little shade to the middle by Desmond.
5 double play balls off the bat of Jones this year. Jordan 94 well upstairs. 2-1. Pardon me. 1-2.
The only thing I don't love about the shade is you have to count on your pitcher fielding his position. So in essence, even though Jones is a pull hitter, he probably doesn't hit a whole lot of balls to standard short. It's almost like you have 2 fielders backing each other up.
That's a swing and a miss on a high heater. Ramos had designs on snapping to first, dropped the ball, 1 out. Strikeout number 2, and Mercedes will track it.
Well, look at the game plan. Obviously elevate against Garrett Jones, right? Everything above the strike zone, and Jones showing that he can't lay off, so Zimmerman staying up there.
That's the 82nd time he has struck out this year. Next hitter is a young man we talked about last time these 2 ball clubs met. He's only 23 years of age. And Marcelo Zuna is having quite a year. Look at the power numbers. Good center fielder, great speed, good arm, hitting .270. And he has an 8-game hitting streak against the Nats with 13 hits.
Dirty slider right there for strike 1.
They didn't get to see Ozuna enough last year. Only played 70 games on the DL a couple of times, including a broken left hand and then that left thumb ligament tear that had him out for the season after July 23rd. One pitch. 94. The average for the fastball right now.
Well, it started out with 2 sliders, and they went with a fastball right there and had him guessing. As you look at the RBI leaders by position for center fielders.
Jeep with outstanding numbers, and Trout just out of this world. A number 2 hitter in that Angel lineup. And as the A's continue to win 26 games over 500, they can't shake the Halos, who have won 3 in a row. They're just 2 back. What a race in the American League West. Thanks to Trout, Pujols. Marcelo Ozuna, 1 for 3 against Jordan Zimmerman. Career line drive, throw to first, just back. McGee.
Was he back though?
Danny Espinosa thought he had an out there. Here comes Matt Williams.
I thought they had him. Espinosa with a quick transfer. He got the ball to LaRoche with something on it, and McGee didn't slide. Tried to get back into Adam LaRoche's glove, just run back into LaRoche's glove and hope to hit him in the back, but I thought he was out, and we'll see it right here. What kind of view we have of it. That looks bang bang to me, and I don't know. This one show it?
You know, and in situations like this, it's up to the clubhouse guys to decide, is it enough to reverse the call? And they didn't think it was. 2 outs.
And is it worth it too?
Yeah.
You know, early in the game.
Jared Saltalamacchia, the catcher, next.
So I'll move for 1 tonight. But I don't have any challenges, so I can use as many as I want.
Your percentage on the season is
not good.
We'll call it average.
Let me see. Yeah, that's just too close to review.
Yeah.
Well, at least I'm going out there making a call.
I called him out. I called the batter out. Well, that's my job.
Well,
I'll let you worry about the other guy.
Okay. I figured you'd just jump in on it with me and then hang it.
Yeah. I'm with you, winner tie.
Okay.
3-0.
With you all the way, winner tie.
Winner tie.
That was a tie, really.
Tie goes to the runner. Saltalamacchia hitting only .230. Left-handed, .238. But a guy with pop, he's hit 10 home runs, driven in 30. And Zimmerman just very consistent with the heater, 94 after 94 tonight. And it is really steamy and muggy in here with the roof closed tonight.
Oh, you ain't kidding. Lost 3 pounds since this game started, just sitting here.
And a ball well hit to right center. Worth going after it, and he will run it down. Where he caught that ball in the gap is about 395 feet from home plate. This defense has been outstanding. 5th fewest errors in the National League.
road trip, picked up for the slack of Giancarlo Stanton, gives us one to ride. Want Jason Worth kind of check to see where he is, take his eye off the baseball. Nice route, nice running catch, anticipating the baseball. And you know, anytime you make a play 390-ish feet away from home plate, it's a nice one, saved a run. The warning track here at Marlins Park is one of the widest warning tracks you'll see in all of baseball. And ever since Bryce Harper ran into the fence at Dodger Stadium last year, I've contended that Major League Baseball should make all warning tracks the same.
Agreed.
So as a player, you know that if I take 2.5 steps, the wall's coming. And that you shouldn't have to negotiate 3.5 steps in this park, 4 steps in this park, 1.5 steps in that park. And really, it shouldn't be that hard. It's just a difference of a little more grass and a little less dirt. Let's make them all 12 feet. Make it standard. 12-foot warning tracks all the way around, whatever the configuration is.
Right. And one of the other things I think needs to be done is to take the padding on the outfield walls and extend them all the way to the ground. I don't know why there's always that little gap down there. I mean, we've seen guys go under padding and break a toe up against that concrete, which seems like every ballpark has. A couple of national center fielders over the years got themselves in trouble with those. 1-2, and Jordan Zimmerman goes to the right side for Jordany Valdespin. 6 hitters in a row for Evaldi now since the walk to Worth. For the achiever in you, PNC Bank, with our minor league report. And the older brother of Donovan Solano of the Marlins is our catcher, Jonathan. He's hot at Syracuse. Last 10 games, .324. 3 extra base hits. 28-year-old catcher. Has seen action part-time for the Nats since 2012, up and down several times, based on injuries to Wilson Ramos. He's always been a good hitter.
Well, his brother's on fire. Donovan had a 409 road trip, 9 for 22. And some big hits for the Marlins on their 5-2 trip. So everybody with the last name Solano, hot.
Span sharply hit. Valdespin again. First time through the batting order, the Nats went 1 for 7 with a walk and a sac fly. And there's Donovan, who has swung the bat pretty well over the last couple of years against the Nats. He has a 9-game hitting streak against our ball club. We had a great time with those guys. I think it was 2 years ago. Interviewed them both over in the third base dugout. They just had a delightful time talking about each other.
Well, whatever it's worth, I'm still a big fan of Jonathan. I love the way he adds energy on a Sunday day game after a Saturday night game. I think that's a big part of a backup catcher, how they run a baseball game. I have a feeling that he's going to be a big league catcher for a long time. It just hasn't happened this year, but his brother doing a nice job for the Marlins.
Yeah, Donovan's a good fielder, good infielder. Rendon, the only hit of the game for the Nats, and that's a breaking ball outside. After Span fouled out to start the game, Anthony hit one cleanly through the right side. Went to second on a Worth walk, third on a wild pitch, scored on the LaRoche fly ball. Had a good fastball to the corner from Nathan Evaldi. Pretty good snap on that breaker. Counts 2-2. Nissan will track it.
And slider's been good. Sitting 2-1 fastball mid-90s. You get a slider at 84 out front.
Right at Echeverria, the shortstop. And a 3 ground ball inning for Evaldi, who has turned his night around after a very long first inning on a hot night in Miami.
get the Jason Worth Guard Dome. That's Tuesday, August 5th against the Mets. Giveaway be distributed at all gates while supplies last. Be sure to follow hashtag WorthGoesGnome on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook for the Gnomes Road Trip Adventures. I think I saw the Gnome today at South Beach with a very small Speedo on. So you can follow that on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
I should have gone jogging.
And there it is, Garp, our favorite piece of work, the Pinocchio Dolphins. And I think
you're right, it's a piece of work.
Since Mass and Dan slid down the slide in Milwaukee, that he should go ride one of the Pinocchio Dolphins out there and do a report. Just kind of get on that thing right there, saddle it up, get the microphone, and
we'll
ride it.
We'll pop for a new suit.
I want him to ride it.
Zimmerman gets Echeverria. One-run game, always great to retire that number 8 man in front of a pitcher who can bunt. And it'll be Evaldi now.
Dan told me before the game he would love to, so maybe we get him out there.
Yeah.
At least by the... What are we calling this?
He could go flying right into the Clevelander off of that thing.
Oh, the pink ostriches. Yes, that's what I was calling last time. There they are. There's some pink ostriches.
Those are flamingos. Come on.
Whatever.
Of course, I didn't even know what a Marlin was. I'm the one who called them Dolphins first of all, 4 years ago, and you gave them the Pinocchio designation.
Yeah, you said, look at the dolphins out there. And I said, well, those are dolphins with big noses, but they're commonly referred to as Pinocchio dolphins.
Yeah.
And those are South American pink ostriches.
And that is strikeout number 3 from Jordan Zimmerman. First time through the order, the Marlins go 1 for 9 with a Casey McGee single. Top of the order, Kristen Yelich.
DC area Toyota dealers want to help children and their families by making a donation of $37 to the Children's Inn at NIH for every strikeout by a Nats pitcher this season. So nice slider right there for strike 3, $37.
Jordan Zimmerman firing on cylinders now, getting ahead. He did what you love to do in the National League, and that's get those number 8 and 9 hitters out of the way in a hurry. Then he goes with a breaking ball. LaRoche backs up for the bouncer. Zimmerman covers, and a really nice fast third inning for him. A 6-pitch frame, 40 through 3. Worth LaRoche Desmond coming up.
A nice piece of hitting right there. High inside fastball. Got his hands inside of it. Ground ball single to right. And then Adam LaRoche on a 3-2 pitch. I think the third 3-2 pitch he saw. Got it deep enough out to Marcelo Zuna, who has a good arm, to score Anthony Rendon and give the Nats the 1-0 lead.
after Worth and before Desmond. Adam LaRoche in the top of the fourth. Jason's drawn a couple of game-changing walks the last 2 days. Bases loaded, fifth inning yesterday for a run, and then the walk tonight that pushed Rendon to second base. Wild pitch advanced him, and then the LaRoche fly ball put the Nats on top. Up and away.
Even though the slider is good from Eovaldi tonight as a hitter, when a guy's throwing mid-90s and he's got a hard slider and everything's coming at you firm, it's the kind of at-bats you like. They're not uncomfortable. You just have to really pick a pitch out on one side of the plate and go with it. The guys that give you trouble are the guys that throw 94, 95 and have the 80-mile-an-hour slow looping curve, and there's a big separation. He's, everything's coming out of his hand firm, so let's go up there and hit. It's not as tough as it looks with the mid-90s fastball.
Well inside 3-1. He hasn't gotten a strike call on the inside edge yet. Most of his efficiency away. Worth almost doubled on him to the right field corner before walking 3 innings ago. There's that outside corner. That's where Brian Onora has been calling strikes.
Pretty good pitch.
Mercedes-Benz will have a look.
Power and command right there. 95 on display on the black.
There's another one elevated a bit. Worth couldn't pull the trigger, and Nathan Eovaldi in the 4th inning gets his first strikeout.
A little bit of crossfire action too. As you look at pitch track, you see the angle that the pitch is coming in. It's kind of going across home plate at an angle. That's because he's stepping toward the third baseline and firing across his body.
LaRoche now 5 career RBIs against the Miami right-hander, who was part of the Hanley Ramirez deal back in 2012, July 25th, almost a week before the deadline. He came from the Dodgers to the Marlins. Randy Choate, left-handed reliever, and Hanley Ramirez went to LA. 1 ball, 1 strike. And LaRoche will be on the board with a base hit. Sacrifice fly, now a single. He's aboard with 1 out for Ian Desmond.
That's the second good at bat by Adam LaRoche against Eovaldi. He's got a nice low fastball. Foot down early, head still, big throw of the barrel. And he likes hitting off the right-hander from the Marlins.
He is now 6 for 12. There's Ian Desmond, who flied to right first time. Hit the ball pretty well. Giancarlo Stanton hauled it in, approaching the right field corner. Desmond will pull this one. He'll have to hustle. Turned by Valdespin, and that's a 5-4-3 double play. That's gone quickly after the 1 out. LaRoche base hit. 1-0 Washington.
You get a fourth free with the Summer Catch 4-pack. You get a new era cap to go along with it. Visit Nationals.com/summer to get your pack today. There's another 2-pack. Drinking a 6-pack.
Nats won the first game of a series April 14th in Miami, 9-2. And then Jordan Zimmerman on the 14th taking the mound, and he would go 7 innings, a walk, 7 strikeouts. Nats taking care of business that night with lots of offense. That was a win that tied him for #1 all time with Livan Hernandez. 44th win is in that.
And that was Jackie Robinson Day, said Captain Obvious. See Kurt Suzuki in that shot. Tyler Moore playing first base. Ryan Zimmerman at third. Number 42.
Jordan Zimmerman in his career, 7 complete games, 3 of them shutouts, and there's a breaking ball down and in.
Rivera was the last one, right? Or number 42, Mariano. I don't think there's any more 42s in baseball.
As they say, that was grandfathered in and never to be done again. Ian Desmond didn't have to move his feet. Valdespin lining out right to him. Giancarlo Stanton, first time matchup.
Check out how they worked him. We said they'd make him aware of the inner half early. So slider in for strike 1. Now watch the fastballs. In, ball, then slider away, looked at the mound, didn't like it. Then another slider away. Then what do you do? Go in and then back to outside. So make Stanton aware of 94, 95. You didn't see the payoff pitch because we showed you the one live, but it was a slider down away for strike 3.
Couldn't reach it. 7 for 25 career against Jordan Zimmerman with 3 home runs. And that first inning strikeout, the 8th time Jordan has fanned him. And now he's ahead 0-2. That ball got a lot of the plate, but he chopped it to Rendon. Guns it over, 2 outs.
I'll tell you what, all you need to know about Jordan Zimmerman tonight is Giancarlo Stanton thought, well, that was a 3rd out. He tried to hand his helmet to the first base coach. Is his pace. Watch his tempo. When he's confident and he knows he's got fastball command, he gets it and goes, and he's working as fast as I've seen him work here tonight.
Only man to solve him so far, Casey McGee, with a nice soft swing and a line drive beyond the reach of Ian Desmond, the only Marlins base runner. And Casey McGee asking for time because Zimmerman was ready to go.
Slowing him down.
Veteran move by the hitter, who sees a perfect fastball seconds later.
Down in the zone, hitting his spots, sliders sharp and late.
Wow, 94. That was right down the middle of McKee. Could only foul tip it. Target in. That was way in.
Did you hear McGee brace for impact right there with, oh.
You told me guys have made the sound before the ball got there, thinking they were going to get hit.
Nice to do it.
How does he follow it? Fastball at the knees.
That's a clinic right there. You kidding me?
McGee probably expecting a hook that he could late react to. By that time, the express was gone.
Paint.
the start of 2012 against the Fish. All of them damage.
9 homers for Bryce.
Look at that. And we remember the first time he saw this ballpark. Went upper deck a couple of years ago here.
2 on opening day last year.
At home, yeah. I think the Marlins scored, what, 1 run in the 3 games of that series to open the season in 13. And ball is rocked up the middle. 86. Bryce not fooled by the off speed. He's 1 for 2 tonight, and that breaks up an 0 for 7.
Well, we said he had some good passes his first time up. Hit a long foul ball down the left field line. Was right on a fastball, fouled it straight back. Eventually flew out to center field. And look out, Nathan Eovaldi. That one's coming back at you with something on it. Ooh, good swing by Harper. I like the setup, the slightly open stance, dropping hands on the baseball, and keep that stance for a while.
2 of the last 3 batters with hits, LaRoche and now Harper. Here's Wilson Ramos, who pulled the ball first time. Bounced out to Casey McGee at third.
Big lead by Harper.
Ramos rams one to center, but Ozuna right there. Thought about throwing to first. And Ramos into a tough luck out.
Nats win. Everybody wins all season long. When the Nats win and score 7 or more runs, you get 50% off regular menu prices at papajohns.com by entering promo code NATS50. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, official pizza if you're Washington Nationals.
Danny Espinosa checking in. And by the way, before it gets too late tonight, we forget about it. It was wonderful during batting practice today to see Rick Ankiel at the ballpark with his son. He's got 2 boys, ages 4 and 3. Brought the oldest down from the Jupiter area to see the guys, and it was wonderful to see Rick. He told me after being out of uniform nearly a year now, he's starting to get a little antsy. He said it was great at first, and he feels like he definitely wants to get back into the game in some capacity in the near future. And what I found most interesting, he's writing a book about his career and everything that happened to him as a pitcher, reinventing himself. And FP, I can't think of a story by any player in recent memory that would prove to be more interesting than that. So we'll let you know whenever that comes out. But Rick's working on that. That should be fascinating.
Well, my favorite part was when his 2-year-old son picked up a baseball and threw it out of the stadium. But that was impressive.
Those kids probably inherited a pretty good arm. But he's enjoying being a dad and a husband and out of uniform for now. And he said he knew it was time. He knew it was time to go home. And that's a tough thing for anybody in any job, but especially ball players, because it happens to them so much younger than most careers, of course. But he's at peace and knows he had a good career. 2-1.
He didn't die. He just retired.
I know. I know. I can't wait to read that book. That's going to be interesting.
You know what? It's interesting for me, easy to say, is when I see guys retired all the time that just retire, Carp, I tell them there is life after baseball. There really is. And it's something that when you play and you dedicate your whole life to one craft and you really don't know how to do anything else very well, it's scary.
Yeah.
But, yeah, there's a lot of great stuff going on besides baseball when you retire.
Good take by Danny Espinosa to get the count to 3-1. Just wondering if Matt Williams might do something with a runner here. 3-1 count. See if it goes to 3-2 or if Harper can just walk down to second base. Marlins thinking about that on the check at first. Good hitting pitcher on deck.
Well, if it's a steal, it's a straight steal. You ain't betting on Danny Espinosa put in play right here in a 3-1 count. He's shortened up his lead.
Runner was not moving, and maybe he will now.
Well, how about some hit speed? That ball was smoked off the bat of Bryce Harper. What do we got? There's the hit right back up the middle.
Wow.
Very loud sound. And we have the Florida Highway Patrol radar gun on it. 103 miles an hour. It's going to cost you, Bryce. It's a beefy ticket.
He will pay that fine gladly. 3-2 to Espinosa. Harper holding, and he stays alive. Well, the Nats left Colorado, expecting another crazy weekend of offense in Cincinnati. The pitchers ruled in that series, and now a 1-0 game in a pitcher's park. Game 7 of this road trip. Espinosa swinging a foul tip. 2 outs. Second K by Eovaldi. Jordan Zimmerman 2 years ago, end of May. Guess where he hit his only career home run?
I'm going to guess right here.
Slider.
Got him. Barely cleared the fence. Right into the Clevelander, where all the families sit here at Marlins Park.
Last time a Nat hit a home run 6 days ago. Adam LaRoche in Colorado. They hit 2 homers in that series, none in Cincinnati. Desmond the other out there, and Jordan taking all the way. Count 2-1. There they are. Eovaldi's been pretty good to the outside edge. Couldn't reach it. Eovaldi strikes out Espinosa and Zimmerman. We are halfway through at Marlins Park, a couple of miles inland. It's 1-0 Nationals. Nothing over the Marlins of Miami. Moment in history brought to you by University of Maryland, University College, and at Dodger Stadium, built into the site of Chavez Ravine, the only perfect game in Montreal, Washington franchise history. El Presidente Perfecto.
Well, the guy next door to us, Dave Van Horn, the Ford C. Frick Award winner, called that. And that was at Dodger Stadium.
And by the way, congratulations to a good friend of ours. Eric Nadel of the Texas Rangers joined Dave and many other great Major League broadcasters winning the Ford Frick Broadcasting Award yesterday in Cooperstown. It was actually awarded to Eric on Saturday.
I mean, more importantly than that perfect game he called my first Major League hit. So,
well, he told me
that actually might have kept him out of the Hall of Fame, but it didn't.
It's like Euchre said last night. He got a hit off Sandy Koufax, a home run. Thought it might keep him out of Cooperstown.
He said El Presidente El Perfecto was his call in the final out.
Nice.
And he nailed it.
Garrett Jones, bottom of the fifth. Jordan Zimmerman nearly perfecto so far. A hit by Casey McGee leading off the second. And that ball is scorched. If it's fair, the game's tied. And it goes hooking to the right. That ball absolutely crushed by Jones, who's hit 11 home runs.
Well, the first time up, they got Garrett Jones on high fastballs. Jordan Zimmerman threw everything out of the strike zone up. I think he tried to do the same right here, but he missed in the zone. And that's the only time Jordan really gets into trouble, when he misses in the strike zone. He tried to throw that letter high, but it was just a little bit too low, and Jones was on it.
That thing might have been 30 feet off the ground when it went past the 335 mark. It deflected off that wall out there. Right above those electrical boxes was where it hit. That's a strike, and the count's 2-2. You might note the pitch count, pretty efficient here. 50 pitches, 35 strikes in his first 4 innings. Inside the numbers from Jeep. The winning percentage, even though the Dodgers, the Brewers, the Braves have more wins, the Nationals have a lead on the loss side. A couple of games to make up as we go along. One against Baltimore, one later against Miami. And Garrett Jones back to the dugout as Jordan Zimmerman gets strikeout number 5. Outside edge, Nissan will track.
We are seeing a pitching clinic tonight from Jordan Zimmerman. Might have got a break on that one, but when you're around the strike zone right now, Ryan O'Nora is hunting strikes. And he is keeping the fastball down, moving it in, moving it out. And the slider is sharp tonight, as is everything out of the hand of Jordan.
So 10 straight since the McGee base hit. There's Marcell Ozuna lined out hard to Espinosa first time. Ground ball hard to Danny this time. He was actually on the outfield grass. 2 outs.
I'll tell you what, as a second baseman, those plays scare you when they come to the lip like that, and you have to negotiate where the dirt hits the grass. If it's not flush, it can take a tricky hop, and that ball was hit hard off the bat of Ozuna. Nice play. Now watch where Espinosa fields this hot shot. But he's lucky that the last hop hopped over that lip. I guess it looked better in fast motion.
Field here, pretty good shape considering while the Marlins were gone, they had an international soccer match here. Strike 1 to Sal Talamacchia, who's raised his batting average 20-some points since the All-Star break. Wow.
Clinic. I mean, it's absolute clinic. Pounding the strike zone, working fast. Look at the rate. He is getting it and going. I'd step out right now, too, if I was a Marlins hitter. He is working some kind of fast. He said in so many words after his last start against the Rockies that he would be better next time, that he felt rusty. And he shook the rust off, figured it out late, and he'd be good.
Sal Talamacchia able to get to a high 94. Jordan 134th career start. Trying to beat the Marlins for the 6th time. And trying to make it 5 in a row against them. 2-2 pitch. And with no defender over there on the shift, Saltalamacchia with Miami's second base hit. Bryce is going to throw in behind him, and the runner is out at second base.
Wow.
Harper to LaRoche to Desmond. 7-3-6.
That cannot happen. And Bryce Harper, not afraid to throw across the diamond. Look at him set him up. And the hose across the diamond, and Saltalamacchia was too far. Nice relay by LaRoche. Thanks for coming.
7-3-4.
But this is the who does this department.
Yeah.
Like, what left fielder in baseball does this, folks? We've seen him do it a few times, and it hasn't worked. But watch him set up Jared Saltalamacchia with I got it. All the way across the field. Saltalamacchia took too big a turn, and maybe the reason Jared took that big turn is because of Bryce just setting him up. And give Adam LaRoche credit for fielding the hop, throwing off the wrong foot, right on the money, to Anthony Rendon for a play that you'll see 4,618 times tonight on the highlights.
Bad mistake in a one-run game when you're behind.
Yeah.
Really or ahead, but especially trailing. And that means 8, 9, and 1 will bat next inning. They might have been able to get another hitter or two out of the way at the bottom of the order. So, top 6, top of the order. Bryce Harper, outfield assist for that, and LaRoche as well, going 7-3-4.
I'm sitting next to Adam LaRoche right now. They were talking between innings, and I'm probably telling them that if I know that's coming, I can cheat up, meet the ball, and still get the guy at second base. That's a hard thing to have a sign for, though. But they were chatting between innings.
Well, there's no doubt that at times Bryce invents things as they happen. That time it worked. Awesome. Span. Chance for a hit. First baseman came off the bag. The ball is loose, and Denard Span's aboard. Garrett Jones. The ball, Span all at first base around the same time here.
I mean, it's been leadoff hitting one-on-one with Denard Span lately. Who's been better? Whether he's walking, getting hits, laying down base hit bunts, the throw just rides up the line enough where Garrett Jones can't keep it in his glove. Pretty good play, by the way, by Casey McGee. I thought that was a hit all the way. And the glove goes with Denard Span. And then the ball comes out of the glove. And the best thing about that is that Garrett Jones' hand isn't in it still.
Only thing I can think of is that Mike Redmond thinks maybe Span was to the left of the baseline there, but looked like he had established his baseline. So Denard Span on again. Dan, it's been happening a lot lately.
You're right, Bob, and it's really been happening over the last month plus. And you take a look at what Denard has done, and comparing to other leadoff hitters around the league, he probably doesn't get put up there among the best when people are comparing leadoff hitters. But you look at his numbers, comparison with the 18 leadoff hitters across Major League Baseball with at least 300 plate appearances, you can see what he's done in terms of average extra base hits, on base percentage, drawing a lot of walks, not striking out as much. his teammates are really impressed with how he's kind of turned things around. And you might remember this is the second year in a row that he's done this. He started off really slow last year, put it together after the All-Star break, and he's really seeing it well right now. Matt Williams talked about it before the game, just seeing the ball big, spitting on pitches just off the plate. Everybody's loving what Denard Span's doing at the top of the Nationals order.
He's there with nobody out. Rendon takes a big curveball, but it's low, 2-0.
You could go hit and run in this situation. Evaldi's been around the strike zone, so it's a perfect storm in a 1-0 game. Tough guy to steal off of. You bet on Rendon putting the ball in play.
Target in. I was thinking he better not make a mistake in there because there's a big gap in left center as they swing Rendon around to the right a bit. And out there is the deepest part of this park. A crazy 418 to the right of the piece of work we talked about. Out of play. Counts even 2-2. Nationals box score. First inning, Rendon, a 1-out hit. Worth a walk after a wild pitch. LaRoche drove in Rendon. LaRoche had a base hit in the fourth with 1 out. Double play ball. Erased that. Harper led off the fifth with a hit. Never left first base, and now Span aboard. Hits at a premium. 4-2 Nats in that department. You give Jordan Zimmerman another run, and Rendon takes it. Full count, 3-2. Brian O'Nora trying to get the attention of the scorekeeper, who has 3-1 on the board. Span a medium lead. Rendon trying to shoot one to the right side. I think the strikes button is frozen.
No, they got it.
Now they're going to go to 2-2.
No, they got it.
And hopefully they'll get to 3-2 sometime soon. Rendon, base hit to left. Span stopping. Yelich up with it, and the table's set now for Worth and LaRoche.
Now, Rendon's got the quick bat working tonight. Even on his ground out to shortstop last time up, short compact swing, hit a hard ground ball to Echeverria, and this one in the 5.5 hole. So another good at bat for Anthony Rendon. Back-to-back singles, and that's in business here in the top of the sixth, trying to add on.
Jason Worth tonight, 0 for 1, walk and a strikeout. Outstanding running catch in right center. That was with a runner aboard back in the second. Inside edge for a strike.
Well, I know what Jason was thinking right now. If a couple of calls on the block away last time. It's tough if you give them both sides of the plate.
And that's why he discusses that with Brian O'Nora.
But do you see how he's doing it? Back to my conversation about body language and how you handle strikes and balls as a hitter. Nobody really knew what was going on there until we zoomed in. You can look down and say a lot, and you can also stand up, put your arms in the air, look back, and not say a word, and say even more. You show those guys up with your body language, they can make life tough on you.
That's way inside, ball 2. Evaldi, by the way, 75 pitches into this inning. So he's approaching 100 in the sixth with nobody out. 90 right now, pardon me, approaching. There's that call again, like the first one. Counts even 2-2.
A command from Evaldi has been better than I've seen it against the Nats before. He's really moving that fastball around nice. And You know, he's no dummy out there. He's seeing what Jordan Zimmerman's doing, and he knows that he has to match him pitch for pitch. So his concentration level to the next degree here because of the way Jordan's pitching.
That is a big power zone. So 2 on, nobody out, full count. Left-handed batter on deck, RBI guy lately. Red alert here for the Marlins. Worth up the middle, scorches one. Here comes Span. He will score. 2-0 Nationals. Jason Worth, RBI number 58. Line moving here in the 6th.
A great at bat. You know, didn't really get anything to hit, even though he got to a 3-2 count. Both strikes to Jason in that sequence. Borderline pitches, good pitches, but not ones you want to offer at until you get to 2 strikes. So let's check out the sequence. Yeah, it's on the black. You can have that. I guess it's on the black. Pitch track doesn't think so. So 1-1 count. Another ball you don't want to hit. Even another ball you don't want to hit. So the only pitch that Jason Worth got in this whole sequence was the last one. It was right down the middle. And he squares it up for the RBI, scoring Denard Span.
Adam LaRoche now.
He knew with Bob Senley at third base he wasn't going to stop Denard Span.
And Adam will reach out and stroke one to right, going back Stanton, tagging Rendon over to third with 1 out. And Adam LaRoche has had a good night. He's had a sac fly, a base hit, and he moves a runner there.
Boy, he caught that out front, just missed a 3-run job. Productive out.
Ian Desmond next. Left-hander Dan Jennings in the pen, one of their 2 southpaws. Mike Dunn the other. Their closer Steve Cishek got his 26th save yesterday. And that one slides outside. Sluggers keep on coming in the middle of this order. Desmond looking for something to elevate.
Lots of pitches on a warm night.
That's what made him work hard right from the start. 31 pitches. First inning. Ian Desmond, team leader and 5th in the league, 62 runs batted in. 1 career against Eovaldi.
Safe to say that if this is a strike, it's going to be a firm swing.
Firm, yes. I was thinking along with the Marlins there that maybe on a 2-1 count, Worth could be on the move. Try to stay out of a double play here to end the inning.
It's just so quick to the plate.
I know, it's a good point because Sal Telemakia, not a great defensive catcher, but his pitcher has dictated these non-running situations tonight. 2-1. Worth holding. Ball 3. So this could be it for Eovaldi. Left-handed reliever hot. Doubtful he would face Harper with the bases loaded.
That's a big take by Desmond. A, gets you to a 3-1 count. B, he spit on a slider. So now Eovaldi's painted himself into a corner and you're betting the farm on a fastball. He didn't bite on the slider and he was betting on that.
3-2, and Desmond had a firm swing on 93.
Got his pitch. Maybe a hair too big, got excited and fouled it back. But that's the process. You work to get to that count by a good take on a 2-1 slider. Now you're back to kind of guessing what he's going to throw, but you got to be on the fastball.
Yeah, it's close, and the bases are loaded. Great take by Ian Desmond. Walk number 2 by Eovaldi tonight. 4 base runners in this inning. No move by Mike Redmond yet.
Well, Bryce has had some good swings against Nathan Eovaldi, and you get the feeling if Redmond doesn't go get his starter, this could get ugly for the Marlins.
I kind of wonder why he had Jennings up and getting hot. Maybe he wasn't going to use him, and now he will. 5 1/3 for Nathan Eovaldi. Nats have 6 hits, 3 of them in this inning. Couple of walks, 3 strikeouts. Wild pitch, a double play. This call to the bullpen packaged by the UPS Store. Your one-stop shop for all your small business needs. Let us handle your mailbox service needs. We love logistics. Lefty-lefty matchup coming. Be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals. All hands on deck during that video. Let's see if Bryce Harper can get something done here in the 6th. It's an interesting matchup against Jennings in his 34th ball game. He ranks 9th among National League relievers and 2nd of lefties in ERA. The 1.20. But Bryce is 3 for 7 career against him.
And hitting .341 against lefties this year, 15 for 44 with a homer. So Jennings, a guy with a fastball that averages 92 and a slider at 83. And remember, Bryce hit a first pitch fastball last time up. And let's see if they feed him one again here. Go right to the slider.
2-0 Nats going for a big lead here in the 6th. That's a double play ball, but it takes a big hop, and Harper beats it out. That thing took a wicked hop on Echeverria, and instead of an inning-ending double play, the Nats lead 3-0, and this could be huge.
I'm going to see how they're going to score this, because that did take a nasty hop. Watch the top spin right there, jump on Echeverria. So Bryce got on top of that. It created a lot of over-rotation, and when it hit, it just shot on Echeverria. That's got to be a hit. That's not a routine play. Look at that hop. It's like it's a Super Bowl in the parking lot. But I think more importantly than that, a run scored, and Bryce Harper's approach is much better. His head is not moving at all.
Bryce gets an RBI. You can't assume the double play there.
They give him an error? Is that a hit?
They gave him an error.
Well, they should go down and try and make that play.
That was wicked.
That might get changed because that hop, and I think that last angle we showed, Carp, the side of it, where you could really see it bounce and pick up some speed.
Ramos now. Ball 2.
Well, I'll show you at real speed one more time. Right there. Look at that. I mean, you make that play. Look at that. That's the one that shows the hop and the speed of the hop the best, I believe.
Yeah, that could get changed. Meanwhile, 2-0 to Ramos.
An average shortstop, that's 2 runs, and in the outfield. Echeverria, one of the better glove men at short in the National League, I believe, saved a run.
Agreed. He made a great pickup. Wilson Ramos, first career at bat against Dan Jennings. Four-pitch walk, and the Nationals lead 4-0. And for Ramos, RBI number 23. Third walk issued by the Fish tonight, and every one of them has hurt them. This turns Danny Espinosa around to the right side. He's 1 for 3 career with a double and a walk against Jennings.
Boy, fine line, right? Taking a strike or going to work on a strike. 4 straight balls, 5 now after that pitch. And if you're Danny Espinosa, I'm looking down at Henley and didn't give him the take sign, so we'll see.
Eighth batter in the inning. We've had 2 walks, 3 hits, questionable error call, and 3 Nationals runs. Espinosa up the middle. Here comes Desmond. Here comes Harper. Throw off line. 6-0 Nationals. Ramos ends up at third.
Big knock. So he bet strike and he got it. And I like the aggressive nature right there. And Danny Espinosa much better from the right side than he is left-handed. After 5 straight balls, bet on a fastball right down the middle after the trip to the mound and got it. Ozuna threw a cutter, not even close, and Bryce Harper scores easily. 6-0. And the line is definitely moving, and offense is cool.
There's a lot of things you can do with your pitcher here. Jordan Zimmerman handles the bat so well. Is it a no-no to bunt up 6 with your pitcher?
Heck no.
He squares early. So a safety squeeze to get a runner to second. Staying at third base, Ramos, well executed, and Jordan gets himself right off the field.
So I watched Jason Worth cross home plate. He talked to Brian Honora and tapped him on the shoulder when he crossed home plate. And I think I picked up with the microphones him asking if he was all right. And it's because of the patented bat flip got stuck to his bat with pine tar. It's such a hot night tonight. You see him looking back right there. He thought that it hit Salto Lamaki or Brian Honora, and then when he scores a run, very courteous, says, "You all right? Did that get you guys?" Kind of hear him, and both of them said, "Yeah, we're fine." Didn't mean to do it. It just stuck to his hand. And on a hot night, when you use tons of pine tar, that can happen.
Denard Span bats again. His bunt started this inning. Good breaking ball by Jennings. Now the Marlins with the right-hander Chris Hatcher. Anthony Rendon on deck.
You know, I don't have any stats to back this up, but it seems like the Nats always rake in this ballpark. Every time they come here, it just seems like they hit.
It's a big park. Guys will tell you they see the ball well in here. Be a little tricky during the day with the sunlight coming in from the windows in left field, but as I observed, and Randy Knorr agreed with me during batting practice, that thing carries in here. It's a good ballpark for gaps, doubles, triples, if you're not hitting it over that 10-foot fence. Denard Span takes one outside, 3-1. .375 in the month of July. Coming off a 5-hit, 9 on base series in Cincinnati. 1 for 3 with a run scored tonight. By the way, Denard, 64 runs. He's in the top 10 in the National League. Rendon, several spots ahead of him with 74, including 2 tonight. The lefty will walk the lefty, and the bases are loaded again. And the only man that Dan Jennings will retire was the pitcher Zimmerman, trying to make an out to move a runner. He did get a bad break on a ground ball that took a wicked hop, but it was well hit by Bryce Harper. So with the bases loaded again, Anthony Rendon will face Chris Hatcher. The Nats with a 5-run lead, rather a 5-run inning and a 6-run lead. Bryce Harper with Adam LaRoche threw out a base runner to end the 5th inning, and now the Nats come out in the 6th and take a stranglehold on this game, and they could be in for more. Chris Hatcher, 28th game. Guy seldom walks anybody. 33 Ks over 4 walks. Anthony Rendon first. He's 1 for 1 career against him. Bases loaded again. And he had a good rip, first pitch swinging. Rendon off the hands. Stanton playing him rather shallow on the offside. And the Nationals will score 5 runs in the 6th to give Jordan Zimmerman a huge lead.
Benz of Alexandria, 6-0 Nationals. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Jordan Zimmerman has been doing his thing as good as we've seen him this year. Coming off a rough start in Colorado where he's a little bit rusty. He has been anything but rusty here against the Marlins. And throwing strikes when he wants to, throwing balls when he needs to. You see him climb the ladder to Garrett Jones for strike 3, then just paint on Garrett Jones next time. Not a whole lot you could do with that pitch. And the Nats are 30-1 when they score 6 runs or more this year. And you know the other stat.
They score 4?
That I love the most. When they score 4 runs or more, they're 48-4. That's some pitching, folks.
Jordan Zimmerman threw 5, 63 pitches, 44 strikes. They'll face 8, 9, and 1. Marlins will hit for their pitcher in a moment. First up will be Adeiny Echeverria, who bounced back to Jordan Zimmerman first time up. So Eovaldi charged with 5 runs, 4 earned. Jennings 1 run unearned. Adding up to the Nats 6. Well, he jammed that hitter. Easy line drive for Danny Espinosa to his left.
All right, last concert at Nats Park, part of the Nats Live post-game concert series. It's presented by Travel Channel. It's Martina McBride, August 16th against the Buccos. It's free with your Nationals game ticket. Visit nationals.com/NatsLive for tickets.
Jake Marisnick, 23-year-old outfielder, part of that mega deal they made with the Blue Jays a couple of years ago, will be the pinch hitter for Chris Hatcher. Marisnick recalled today. Third time he's been up this year. And he was hitting .330 in July for their AAA ball club in New Orleans. That was the right-hander Sam Dyson. Jordan Zimmermann on 1 and 2 disposes of another hitter. 6 Ks tonight.
I mean, no hit stuff from Jordan Zimmermann on display. He's given up a couple, but when you look at the way his slider's been sliding, 86 miles an hour, tough to pick up late. The fastball command has been to a corner down the zone. He's elevated when he's wanted to with the fastball, so he's just doing whatever he wants to the Marlins right now.
Perfect fastball to the corner against Christian Yelich.
Power and command on display.
Threw him a changeup, took a little bit off at 87 there. Up the middle. And how about Jordan Zimmermann? What else can you do tonight? Pitching brilliantly, picks one off. And he's faced 19 batters, 1 over the minimum in 6 innings.
When you got it going on, you got it going on. Everything going Jordan Zimmermann's way here tonight.
Seventh inning. Look alive. Metro Silver Line now open. Brings you our upcoming schedule. Strasburg, Henderson Alvarez tomorrow night. Day game Wednesday. Tanner Roark, left-hander Brad Hand. And then the Nats will come home to play the Phillies for 4 night games. Getting that series going Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sam Dyson now. His 9th appearance. Left-handed batter's wearing him out. LaRoche is due up second in this inning. Harper 4th if it gets that far. Sam Dyson, 15 career appearances in the major leagues with a .685 ERA.
Boy, Jordan Zimmermann's just got everything going his way tonight. Got some offensive support. Looked like it was going to be a tight ball game. But I think the most important point you can make, besides the fastball command with Jordan, is when he's confident, he works extremely fast. And that's 90% of the time. But last start against Colorado, he was trying to figure it out, make adjustments on the fly. And when you're doing that, you can't have the work rate that he's had here tonight. Talk about getting it and going. It's been fun to watch. pretty good fastball from Dyson. Averages 95, 96.
Jason Worth, 2 for 3 career against him with a double. Good night for Jason. A walk, an RBI single, run scored.
Good running catch in right center field. Who knows what happens if that falls in.
As I mentioned earlier, leadoff man McGee was aboard. Big gaps here. Runner's going to score on a gap shot in this ballpark with 2 outs. Worth, LaRoche, Desmond, top 7.
Well, check out the night of Jason Worth. Here's the catch. Saltalamacchia had home run in a lot of ballparks, but not this one. Jason Worth with a good route runs it down. The errant bat flip that we showed just stuck to his hands with an RBI single up the middle. And really the only pitch he saw to hit in a 3-2 at bat.
2-2 here. And Worth, a 3-2 pitch. Great contact. Stanton stretches out to get it in the corner. This could be interesting. Worth was tagged on a good play by Jordani Valdespin. It'll be a single. 9. Actually, Echeverria on the tag. It'll be a single. 9-6 to retire Worth.
Well, I remember Jason had the day off with the knee that was barking a little bit, and he went to second base funny. Watched the swing first. Another bat flip. Beautiful swing on a 3-2 pitch down the right field line. And with a 6-run lead, decides to stretch it, and you just don't know what that slip there at the end. Watch his left leg. Was there an ankle roll there at the end? Watch the slip. Tries to avoid the tag right there. Just a little twist of the left ankle. Watch it slide out from underneath him as he tries to avoid the tag. Right there. Something funny happened. He kind of limped off. Lee Kuntz over to check it out.
Adam LaRoche, sac fly, base hit, an RBI. He goes up swinging.
Playing hard.
Yeah. I say 6-0 game. If there's any doubt about that thing, get some ice on it. We'll see if the Nats decide to get him off his feet. He knows whether he can perform or not.
That's exactly what Matt Williams is asking right now. You need a couple innings, get off your feet. Looks like Matty's looking down the bench to see if something's funny, because Steve McCatty has lost it, folks. Look at him. He's got his hand over his mouth, and Jason said something that got to him. I don't know what it was. Who knows what was said?
Strike 2 to LaRoche.
And the funny thing about it is, if you know Jason, he can deadpan a joke, not even crack a smile, and it could be the funniest thing you ever heard. He's explaining to Kevin Franzen what he just did.
Adam will stroke one to left, and it's right to Christian Yelich, 2 down.
Stop by any Cox Solution store right now throughout Virginia for your free t-shirt. Visit Cox.com for your nearest store while supplies last. See it right there down in the right hand corner. It's free. It's me. I want 3.
Ian Desmond walked last time, ended up scoring that 5-run 6th inning. He got a slider, thought he could get to it. Desmond has a career homer against Sam Dyson, 1 for 2. And a foul ball that hit his foot. Well, tomorrow the Mid-Atlantic Sports Report, 5 o'clock. A couple of hours before the Nats take on the Marlins here. Hour and a half before Nats Extra. The guys will be talking about this one tonight. I'm sure they'll be looking back on the performance of Jordan Zimmermann, some timely hitting, and they'll set up Strasburg and Alvarez tomorrow night. Ian Desmond went around on a pitch way outside, and the Nats are gone in the 7th. It's the Hyundai 7th inning stretch at Marlins Park. It's all Nats on a sizzling hot night in South Florida. 6-0.
Is that a cruise ship?
And we'll show you why.
Well, just a little move right there. Maybe a hyperextension of the knee, rolled the ankle, whatever. I watched him run up and down the dugout and test it out. I don't think it's anything big. Matt Williams just decided to put Nate McLouth in right field right now, get Jason off his feet, but a little limp in the dugout. Probably go get some ice on it. Be hopefully okay for tomorrow.
So Nate McLouth will bat third, play right field. No drop off defensively with him off the bench, no matter who he replaces. Meanwhile, Jordan Zimmermann, the story of the night for the Nationals. He's averaging 12 pitches per inning. Takes on Valdespin here, who's 0 for 2. Fly ball to center, line drive to short. On the corner with 93, 1-1. Takes a little bit off and drops the curveball in there at 78.
All 4 pitches for strikes, a lot like Tanner Roark's last start against the Reds. This is the curveball. The slider's been great. Hasn't thrown a whole lot of curveballs tonight, but gets the call right there on the outer half.
And it goes 92 and on the hands of Valdespin.
It's just so hard for a hitter when you have a pitcher that's hitting his spots, moving the ball around, not making any mistakes out over the plate, but using all 4 pitches and throwing them in any count. I mean, we talked about it with Roark in his last start, and Cincy, as a hitter, you're just kind of at the pitcher's mercy. And major league hitters will pounce on a mistake, but when there isn't any, what do you do? I guess the thought process I would have going up there against Jordan tonight is, look for a fastball away early and try to hit something the other way and not get real deep into a count, because he has not made too many mistakes out over the plate tonight, if any.
Well hit to center, but Denard Span cruises for it. 0 for 3 Valdespin, who's hit 2 line drives. Here comes Giancarlo Stanton. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground ball.
Well, check out Jordan's night tonight, what he usually does. Fastball percentage tonight a little higher than normal, and I think that's because it's jumping out of his hand and he has the command of it. Only thrown a handful of changeups, but the breaking ball has been mostly the slider. You get that 6-run cushion. It allows you to be real aggressive in the zone, and this is the guy I think he's pitched most effectively tonight, Giancarlo Stanton.
That's dugout didn't like the call.
Did you see what just happened?
Brian O'Nora hollered inside to them.
Brian O'Nora turned his head, hollered inside. He rolled his head back, and Jordan was already in his windup, and he had to set himself real quick to make the call. That's how fast Zimmerman's working.
2-0 pitch. That one off the plate. 3-0 to Stanton, who is 4th on the all-time Marlin home run list, only 3 behind Mike Lowell, 8 behind Hanley Ramirez, and 14 behind Dan Uggla.
This could be interesting right here. 3-1 count. He's looking for a fastball. 6-run lead. Do you throw him one?
He did. Missed with it. Jordan Zimmerman's first walk tonight, and the Marlins have only their 3rd base runner.
All right, Nats fans, you're invited to participate in the Harris Teeter Food Drive beginning August 2nd and 3rd, with the Nats take on the Phillies. That's benefiting the Capital Area Food Bank at Nats Park. Fans who donate 3 or more cans of food receive a pair of tickets for an upcoming Nats game while supplies last. The first 1,000 fans to donate Harris Teeter private label cans will also receive $5 in Nats bucks. Go to nationals.com/tickets for more info.
Here's Casey McGee, one of their 2 hits. And look at this guy, the way he's approaching it. Know why he's got so many hits? He's just taking pitches wherever they're pitched. He was in Japan last year, hit 28 home runs. 2 in the big leagues this year. And it'll be easy for Denard Span for the 2nd out. So the Marlins only 3 entries on the box tonight. One was erased seconds after he singled. McGee the clean single. And then of course Saltalamacchia gunned out by Bryce Harper.
Only 2 entries, 2 knocks.
Well, I was counting the walk. Against Jordan Zimmerman, walks as good as a hit.
Yeah.
Sometimes, unless it's Giancarlo, but at least he got on base. That one out to right center. Nate McLouth can't get it. And Denard Span was running toward McLouth. Takes him a while to get there. Marlins are on the board on a Garrett Jones triple.
Or he can't fault the hustle by Nate McLouth, but that might be a case of trying to do a little too much. Jordan Zimmerman trying to smell the finish line with a shutout here tonight against the Marlins, and I think that's what Nate was thinking, but you play that ball in front and get the next guy. You turn a single into a triple right here. I mean, you can't fault the hustle or the effort. You just come into a ball game. Ball's going to find you every time, but he wasn't near on the dive. And that allows Giancarlo Stanton to score all the way from first on the triple.
No, Marcell Ozuna becomes a big out in this game. It's only the 7th inning. He'll go left side. And that'll make it 6-2. Got to be a base hit all the way, perfectly placed between Rendon and Desmond.
And that's got to get the Nats bullpen up. I think Matt Williams letting Jordan Zimmerman go based on the fact that he had a chance to get a shutout here tonight. Also based on the fact that he really hasn't had any high stress innings. And he also only threw 76 pitches his last start. But now that the shutout's off the board, I think that's going to do it for Jordan here as soon as somebody gets loose in the Nationals bullpen. And Wilson Ramos going to come out for a little stall.
And now you have an interesting matchup between Zimmerman and Jared Saltalamacchia, who's hit the ball well twice.
And you would think, based on what we've seen this year, that Steve McCatty's soon to follow after Wilson Ramos vacates the mound. All to get Ross Detweiler loose. And here comes McCatty. Bench to want to insert yourself in the game and do something good to pick up a guy that's been pitching well all night. Nate McLeod taking that chance on the ball gave the Marlins a little bit of momentum, and it's not a play he should have made. I mean, if he makes that play, it's making all the highlight reels, and as soon as it gets by him, it's a run. And I've done that before. I know exactly that feeling. You want to make a great play. You want to pick up your pitcher who's been pitching his tail off all night long. And it came from a good place. Just probably wasn't the right decision. If you ask Nate, he'd probably tell you the same thing.
Well, right now, the big thing is the hitter. Saltalamacchia, guy with home run power, trying to make this a 2-run game. That one's up high. As mentioned, he's hit the ball hard twice. The one in the gap right center that Worth ran down, then a hard hit opposite field single back in the 5th when Harper deked him off first base, threw in behind him, and he was out at second. Hammers this one, but Espinosa's way out there. What a great call on the shift. And the longest throw you will ever see to first base for a second baseman.
I'm putting 4-3 on that one.
4-4-4-3.
Look how far Danny Espinosa is in right field. Wind it up. 92 to first. And here's your AT&T fan photo. And that is Martha with her puppet Howdy Doody. Who knew Howdy Doody was a Nats fan? Look at that little puppet right there. All right, you see her lips moving. Do you, Carp?
Nice going, Mom.
Yes.
Great look. Got him Natalie attired.
Yes.
At a young age.
Howdy Doody had a few more freckles, but what a cute kid.
Well, Jordan Zimmerman could be done for the night. Marlins started swinging the bats well there. Gives up 2 runs through 7, throwing 91 pitches, 61 strikes. We'll see. The fact that he's chatting with anybody and smiling may be an indication the night's over. And here's Bryce Harper against Sam Dyson, top of the 8th. Harper 1 for 2 career against the right-hander. Gave up a hit to Worth last inning. Got LaRoche to fly out and then struck out Ian Desmond.
Very quiet approach from Bryce tonight. His head's barely moving. Kind of got back to his base with his hands up high. Watch how still his head is. And he's seeing it. And you can just tell by the way he's taken, he's on it.
And a borderline strike makes the count 2-1.
Remember, our Washington, D.C. Lexus dealers are donating $250 to the Children's National Medical Center for every tater and that's player hits this season. So keep them coming. It's for a wonderful cause. Lexus, the pursuit of perfection.
Target in on 2-2. Bryce able to fight it off. Ball in on his trademark.
Billy the Marlin. He's got good seats. Second row. I mean, you turn your head, you can put an eye out with that man.
It's like Bryce hurting a little bit after that swing.
Yeah. Brian Honora giving him a second.
Hate to see a guy grabbing his side.
Right.
Target in again. Harper laces one to left center. Serious carry. Hits the base of the wall. 388 or so away. And Bryce Harper has hit the ball hard twice tonight. Really 3 times, counting that wicked grounder last time up.
You just tell his first at bat, he went back to his old stance. He hit a foul ball far down the left field line. He fouled one straight back and then flied out to center field. And this ball is absolutely roasted to left center field. It was just a matter, is this going to stay up long enough to get out of this humongous ballpark? And it hits off the scoreboard in left center field. And a leadoff double here in the 8th for Bryce Harper. But more importantly, that's the best swing we've seen him take in a long time.
Here's Wilson Ramos, who's 0 for 2 with a RBI walk. Take a strike from Dyson. 0 for 3 career against him. The Nats might not need an add-on run, but anytime you're facing a team with Giancarlo Stanton, you'd feel more comfortable 1 run over grand slam range. Ramos a chopper. Harper to third. In comes the shortstop, Echeverria. He had Garrett Jones scrambling over there at first base. 1 out. Danny Espinosa a chance for his 3rd RBI.
Echeverria fielded that like Roger Bernardino was running to first base, and it was Wilson Ramos. I mean, he came flying in on this, was a little bit out of control, flips it, and a nice play by Garrett Jones to save it.
Zach Walters to the on-deck circle with Espinosa stepping in. Target right down the middle, infield in, way outside.
Let's check out the hit speed on the Bryce Harper double. 102. It's the second time tonight that he's speeding.
Ball is jumping off the bat now.
2 big-time tickets. I think the base hit was 103. That's 102. That's 205 miles of tickets he's getting tonight. It's going to cost him. And that's his 57th career double, and the first time his helmet has stayed on.
You've seen all 57, huh?
Yeah, I have. Stay here long enough, you could see a lot of historic things with that guy if he stays healthy.
Espinosa guides one left side. Harper wasn't going. Probably would have scored easily, but he really didn't know how far off the third baseman that one was. 2 outs. Echeverria makes a fine play. Now it'll be Zach Walters.
Well, you just don't know how well Bryce Harper's feeling right here. He hesitated. I don't know if the contact play was on, but as soon as he froze, that play was off. And Danny Espinosa kind of looked back to third base with an inquisitive look to what happened right there. You see him looking over his shoulder.
Yeah, thought he had his third RBI. It'll be up to Zach Walters. Was that a couple of his finest moments this year in this ballpark? 2 pinch hit home runs here. One into the bullpen in right field, and the other one way upstairs and left, right down the line. Those were both right-handed. Facing Sam Dyson, first time. Not a bad career at this ballpark. Zach 1 for 4 in Cincinnati Friday night with an RBI double. Helped the Nats beat the Reds 4-1. Two 2-0. Good take. Joined the ball club after Ryan Zimmerman was injured last week. And at Syracuse hit 300 with 15 home runs, 48 batted in. On a 10-game streak when they called, actually a 13-game streak when they called him up. Ball 3.
Matt Williams talking before the game that he's going to see some time at second base. Also mentioned Kevin Franzen, but also said that, hey, don't forget that Kevin Franzen's my backup first baseman too, and if Adam LaRoche needs a day off with Ryan Zimmerman out, Franzen would spell LaRoche. It's kind of based on guys who need a day off. It's not all about just playing second base.
Not even close on 4 in a row. First and third, 2 outs. The Nats received their 4th walk of the night.
Be sure to join us this weekend at the fairgrounds at Nats Park for Masson's social media weekend, styled by Hair Cuttery. I heard this was wild last year. Check out Masson Nationals on Twitter for more info. Share a haircut with a child in need and find out how at thehaircuttery.com. Social media weekend at the fairgrounds.
Here's Denard Span. Saw him at the end of the dugout a few moments ago, relaxing between times on base. Singled and walked in the 6th inning. And against Dyson, 0 for 2 career. Look at that batting average when he attacks early. Third base Harper, first base Walters.
And I am going to sit down with the Nats leadoff hitter tomorrow before the game and ask him really intelligent questions like, how does it feel to lead off?
How special was it to bunt for a hit and walk in the same inning?
You like number 2?
Counts even, 1-1, top of the 8th. By the way, the Nats, including their 6 runs tonight, have scored 65 runs in their last 13 games in this ballpark, averaging nearly 5 a game.
Man, I'd like to hit here. You know, I am going to ask him, and he's very aware of it. People talking about his declining skills in center field, and I'm going to ask him his thoughts on that. And if he feels like they are, and anybody that's watching play this year knows they're not. His mom's here tonight.
Don't ask her that question. Up and away, 2-1. Dyson working very slowly and losing his command of the strike zone at the tail end of his 2nd inning of work. One error in 1 2/3 seasons.
Yeah, for me, it's not about that stat. It's about his routes to the baseball, catching everything that's in a ballpark, throwing to the right base all the time, being ready for the baseball and the jumps he gets. And I'm just talking about defense.
Span will pop it up to center. Who wants it? Second baseman Valdespin. Nats fail to score. They make the Marlins stand around for a long time. Washington stranded. Just 5. They'll make it 8 runners tonight. (6-2) Nationals, 6-9-0 Washington, 2-4-1 Miami. First game of a 3-game set. The Nats could lead the Marlins by 8 after tonight, and the Braves by 1.5 after they won their game today.
Well, it's a big series for the Marlins. You look at Ross Detweiler take them out for the 30th time this year. Because approaching the trade deadline, all the talk in the Miami Herald today was, would the Marlins be buyers and go out and get somebody? And it was all based on this series against the Nationals. If they gained enough ground, they were going to go out and make a push for a player or two to try to catch the Nationals, or at least the second wild card spot. But, you know, if they lose 2 out of 3 and it falls to 9 games or whatever it would be, 8, that maybe they don't. So they put a lot of onus on this series. Giancarlo Stanton said before it today, we want to catch these guys and show them that we're for real. Hasn't happened yet here tonight in game 1.
And a ball hit hard to left. Bryce Harper will play it on a hop. Danny Echeverria has the base hit, and now Miami's not exactly going quietly into the night. Reed Johnson will bat for the pitcher Dyson. They have 3 of their 5 hits in the last 4 hitters.
85% fastballs at 93 miles an hour, but it's more than just a fastball. He'll sink it, he'll cut it, and he'll throw it 4 seams straight. Move it around from corner to corner, elevate it at times. He's been playing around with the split.
That was Echeverria's first career at bat against Russ Detweiler, and Reed Johnson is 6 for 12 against him. The 1 is a home run. Now he's 7 for 13, and Matt Williams may have to rethink the back end of his bullpen now.
Well, he definitely has to have a righty ready for Giancarlo Stanton. There's no doubt about that. And the bullpen's scrambling right now. And we're almost going to go out and talk to Ross Detweiler so that the bullpen can get somebody ready, and you'd think it'd be Drew Storen.
Both balls hit hard. Top of the order, Christian Yelich absolutely robbed by Jordan Zimmerman on that line drive last time up. So Drew still playing catch, not up to the top of the mound yet.
Well, those were his first 2 throws.
Yelich, 2 ground balls and a line drive to the pitcher, and Detweiler a strike. Christian Yelich, 1 career at bat against Ross, a base on balls. .93, free and easy, strike 2. His best stretch of pitching in a couple of years now. And Ross goes with the breaking ball. The curve at 79, fouled away.
Pretty good against left-handers. If you're thinking about a possible double play, Yelich can run. Think he gets carded?
1-2 pitch and a bouncer. Espinosa waits for 1, and the other runner no chance to get him. But what Danny Espinosa did there allowed the Marlins to get another runner into scoring position. You know what he was trying to do? Hope to turn a double play.
I thought he might come up in the line and try to tag Johnson right there, but he put the brakes on and he decided to throw it to first base, and it was the right play at the time. Once Johnson decided to hit the brakes, watch. You're thinking he could come up and touch. Watch Johnson hit the brakes, and he can't run all the way up and tag him. I guess he could have. He chose to go to first base to get Yelich.
And that was interesting. Took the double play out of order. And now hitting for Valdez-Speed will be right-handed hitting infielder Jeff Baker. Baker against Detweiler, career 1 for 5.
Pretty good with runners in scoring position too this year. 15 for 41, a 366 average. That's probably why Mike Redmond has thrown him up in this spot.
Yeah, how big is this batter right here? Talked about that grand slam range. Right now, 2 men aboard with 1 hitter to go before Giancarlo Stanton steps in. Good looking heater, 93, low in the zone.
Fans didn't like that one.
All 27,000. That ball bounces in front of home plate. Ramos just picks it off cleanly. 27,027, the announced attendance tonight.
Some invisible fans.
Two and one.
Good try in the inner half. Didn't get the call.
And helping out is Baker. That appeared to be ball 3.
Well, you saw the cutter, the last pitch from Ross Detweiler. This is the sinker, so you make Baker aware of the fastball in that cuts toward him, and then you go the little sinker away at 93. It's a nice job of moving that fastball around, but two different fastballs right there from Detweiler. I go 2 away. You can try one in if you want.
6-2 ball game in the 8th with 2 men aboard, 1 out. Chopper, it'll score a run. One priority, the out at first, and Desmond takes care of that. 6-3 now. And we'll see if it's Drew Storn against Stanton.
It has to be. There's no other choice.
Detweiler will retire 2, give up 2 hits, be responsible for at least 1 run. And it'll be Drew Storn and Giancarlo Stanton in a 3-run game. Two tomorrow evening from Marlins Park. Trying to bounce back from a rough outing is Steven Strasburg last Wednesday afternoon in Colorado. And here's Drew Storn, and maybe the only number we need to throw your way right now. Giancarlo Stanton career against him, 2 for 13, a walk, 5 strikeouts.
I don't care. I don't care if Giancarlo Stanton's 0 for 100 against Drew Storen. I'm making the guy with 2 home runs on deck beat me. Sorry. And he could strike Stanton out and make him look silly right here, and I could be totally wrong, but I'm not taking a chance with a guy with 23 home runs and more pop than anybody in baseball in a 2-run game.
Good news is he can't tie the game as the score is 6-3.
Still, you don't want to make it 6-5 in a heartbeat, so I don't know. I guess go right after him.
Another pitcher who's hot. Target in from Ramos. Low target. And he spins away from the waist-high fastball. Great slider.
Nasty.
Ramos leans outside a bit. Another slider to strike him out.
Like I said, go right after him.
Drew Storen, as hot as anybody in the Nats bullpen right now. Fantastic breaking pitches. He brings out 2 killer sliders.
Carlos Stanton, a great matchup that might come back sometime later in this series, so put this one in the files. Goes first pitch slider. Stanton, who's struggling right now, can't get to it. I love the fastball in to make him aware. Then you go slider down the way and slider down the way, and a 4-pitch thanks for coming. Nicely done by Drew Storen, who's having an amazing season for the Nats, and it continues right there in a big spot.
Well, relievers get hot just like hitters get hot. Sometimes they have to wait days and days between ways to stay that way. Drew Storen, brilliant there. So here's Mike Dunn to take on Rendon, McLeod, and LaRoche in the top of the 9th inning. Long-time veteran pitcher who has a 3.09 home ERA in this ballpark. Anthony Rendon, the first to face Dunn, and Anthony against him, 1 for 3 career with a double and a walk.
That's a fastball from Dunn. It averages almost 95 miles an hour. Slider 88.
Anthony Rendon thinking about right field.
All right, the Peanuts are back in Woodbridge through July 30th. Fun excitement all weekend long. Friday with Justin Bieber Demolition Night. Come down and see the future Washington Nationals all summer long. And crush the Biebs, I guess.
I didn't know it was personal between Potomac and him.
It must be. I don't think. I feel like eggs getting thrown at him or something. I don't know.
No balls, 2 strikes. Anthony Rendon 2 for 4. Base hit to right, 1 to left, 2 runs. No swing, says DJ Rayburn.
He never goes. He's got the best check swing in all of baseball. Every time they appeal on Anthony Rendon, he never goes. Just some kind of forearm strength right there to hold up.
And a nasty breaking ball down there by Mike Dunn. First out here in the 9th. Ball game started at 7:10. Just a few clicks short of 3 hours. Mass and Dan's here, FP and Bob. First game of the series. The Nationals trying to make this a 5-2 road trip. Nate McLouth against Mike Dunn, 0 for 1. Couple of walks in their career matchups. Rafael Soriano coming off a little emergency save in Cincinnati yesterday after the Reds scored 2 in the 9th. That was his 25th and his 200th career. And if the Nats don't score, it'll be a save available against McGee, Jones, and Ozuna in the 9th.
He said he was so proud of it because he became a closer later in his career that's a big deal for him.
Nate McLouth jacks one a long way to left center. And that ball will have Yelich slowing down to grab it at the last moment. Ball hit a ton, about 380 feet the other way.
Well, you can't hit a ball any better than that. Tough luck for Nate McLouth. Fans, follow every Nationals game with MLB.com app on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replay, scores, stats, audio, and free MLB.tv game of the day and more. Download in the App Store. Visit Nationals.com today.
Lefty Adam LaRoche now. 2 for 10 career with a couple of walks against Dunn. Throwing the ball well, delivers 95 in there. And LaRoche off the hands. Right center. Stanton on his way. And a 1-2-3 ninth will set up. Hopefully a 1-2-3 ninth from that man. Soriano straight ahead. trying to go 13 over 500 for the very first time. So let's look at the career numbers of Rafael Soriano. 200 saves, a 2.70 ERA to get him there, and appearing in his 563rd career game. By the way, he was the 46th major league pitcher to reach 200.
Yeah, 42nd appearance for Soriano this year. Look at the ERA, 1.10, 25 for 28 save opportunities, 40 strikeouts, just 13 walks. And lefties hitting 156 against Soriano this year. Remember last year that was a problem for him. This year not so much. He's been good.
Casey McGee first. Career against Soriano, 1 for 2 with a single and a strikeout. A lot of first pitch sliders lately to right-handers. Low with that one. And a fastball just missing.
Let's see if the Marlins are taking a strike. A lot of ball clubs down by 3 will take a strike, try to get a closer in the strike zone. Until you represent the tie in a go-ahead run.
He's not in the strike zone. Soriano threw 18 pitches, 12 strikes yesterday. Got his 24th save Friday night. It went 16 pitches, 11 strikes that inning. Missed on 4. Now he faces Garrett Jones. Jones 0 for 3 career against Soriano. One for 3. With that flare of a triple to right center.
That's a big out, Carp. You got 16 home runs in the on-deck circle.
11 in the batter's box. And of course the guy in the on-deck circle tying run, potentially Ozuna. Out to right center. And that ball will one-hop the wall. Nats get it in. It'll be second and third. Nobody out. And the Marlins, once down 6-0, have achieved what every team down big tries to do. At least get that tying run up there.
Well, it's never easy. That's another example, just a belt-high fastball right down the middle after the leadoff walk on 4 pitches. Garrett Jones would have been a home run in a lot of ballparks. Has to settle for a double here. And Brett Butler rightly holding the runner at third base. Casey McGee, the leadoff walk.
Marcell Ozuna career against Soriano, 1 for 4 with a double. Tonight he has a scratch hit for an RBI.
When you're playing as well as the Marlins and you get a leadoff walk in the bottom of the 9th down by 3, the whole dugout says, here we come.
Wow. He was trying to hit his 11th home run of the year after the start of the 7th inning. Nobody in baseball has had more.
They got a pitch to do it too.
Into right center. It's going to drop. Now it's a 6-4 game, and the tying run's on base.
Well, right now the Marlins are doing their thing. We told you they had won 7 out of 8 coming into this game. They went 5 on and 2 on their last road trip. That's the best 7-game road trip in their franchise history, and they are not going away quietly. And another high pitch from Rafael Soriano is deposited to right field to make this a 2-run game, and the tying run is at first.
Jared Saltalamacchia is next. So third base Jones, first base Ozuna. Saltalamacchia 3 career hits against Soriano, a double and a home run.
I mean, they are taking some softball swings off the Nationals closer right now, not getting cheated.
Ballpark as alive as it's been all night.
But you're looking for a double play, trying to get him on the ground any way you can. You'll trade a run and make it a 6-5 game with a double play right here, right now. Saltalamacchia is thinking about a walk-off homer. Soriano and the guys behind him are thinking about turning double play. These 3-run saves are supposed to be the easy ones. Nothing's easy when you're playing a hot ball club.
Three-one pitch. That thing looked like it was out of the zone by the time the breaking ball got there. It'll be 3-2 with nobody out. Redmond's ball club, 4 straight, 7 of their last 8. Three-two and a line drive to right. Nate McLeod has it. It'll be 6-5 on a sacrifice fly.
Good at bat by Saltalamacchia to make this a 1-run ball game, and now you have to play the game with Ozuna at first base and keep them close. 3-2 cutter, slider, something down the middle. Hit it deep enough to score. Garrett Jones from third base. And a 3-run game is all of a sudden a 2-run game with 1 out here in the bottom of the 9th.
Danny Echeverria, speedy runner, hard to double up, but he has hit into 8 double plays this year, and Soriano's behind another hitter. Donovan Solano for the pitcher next, if it gets that far. Echeverria 0 for 6 career against Soriano.
Ozuna 3 stolen bases, hasn't been caught.
.91 upstairs. Echeverria couldn't get to it. On the corner, strike 2.
90 paint away after chasing maybe ball 3. Soriano gets on top of that one and making the adjustments, trying to keep the ball down. He's been up this whole 9th.
And a 2-2. That's a breaking ball hit out of play.
What's the important pitch, Carp? If it's ball 3, it gives Mike Redmond the option of starting Ozuna in a 3-2 count. I mean, you can still start him here in a 2-2 count, but it makes it easier on a skipper to start a guy in a 3-2 count based on you think the guy's going to put the ball in play. Stay out of the double play. It's a big pitch.
One 6-0. Marlins 2 in the 7th, a run in the 8th, 2 more here in the 9th. And he throws away a 2-2 pitch, allowing the runner to go to scoring position.
I mean, it's unraveling here in the 9th. Wilson Ramos tries to get over and block it, and a 90-foot mistake allowing the tying run to get into scoring position with just 1 out. That takes the double play away. Probably would have started him anyways right here.
3-2 with 1 out. Checking his swing. Fouling it straight back. Echeverria has struck out 56 times in 333 at bats this year. He's having an impressive at bat.
Well, what he's showing you right now, that he's refusing to walk. If you throw anything near the strike zone, he's swinging. And even though he's a go-ahead run, you might be able to get him chase here in a 3-2 count.
The only pitch low, the wild pitch.
It doesn't look like he wants to walk. He wants to be the hero right here.
That ball's in the gap. The game will be tied. It's a blown save. And heading for third base is Echeverria.
Unbelievable. Another pitch up, belt high. Echeverria swinging. He told you he was swinging. He wasn't going to take a pitch. It looked like a cut fastball, belt high. He went shopping at the gap, and that was an easy score for Ozuna. But more importantly, the winning run on third base. Watch Echeverria get it right here. And Jordan Zimmerman, on one of his best nights as a National, doesn't get the win.
Steve McCanny to the mound. Donovan Solano will be the hitter. And I can guarantee you that the broadcast booths on either side of us will call this the Marlins' biggest win of the year if they come from behind and take it.
Absolutely. I mean, they said before the game they want this series. They want to get within striking distance of the Nats. I mean, you talk to people that watch them play every day. They fight, they battle, they won't go away. And now they have one of their hottest hitters up in the box in Donovan Solano.
Jerry Blevins up and throwing. Righty-righty matchup here with Solano, who's 2 for 3 career against Soriano.
Well, you can decide who you want right here if you're Matt Williams. The winning run's on third base. If you want to go after Solano, you can. If you want to walk him and walk Yelich and get to Baker, you can, and load the bases. The only thing about doing that is Soriano hasn't thrown strikes.
And Solano in swing mode, breaking ball right to the end of his bat.
I mean, you could set up the double play with a walk right here. He can load the bases and set up a force out at any base. But in a 6-6 game, Matt Williams has lots of options right now. He's choosing to go after Solano.
Three hits, a walk, a sacrifice in the inning with a wild pitch. and that hit him.
It's not the worst thing in the world. That's okay, actually. I mean, you have to walk Yelich right here, don't you? And go right on right matchup? You do. Solano doesn't matter. They're talking about it in the dugout. Or
maybe go lefty-lefty with Blevins and Yelich.
Might be going to Jerry Blevins right here. How about this move if Matt Williams does this? I guess the save's blown, and he figures go with the matchup.
Well, he's also watched his guy throw over 20 pitches and retire one batter. And Soriano has been pulled from this game. Nats led by 6. They led by 3 into the 9th. It's all gone. Heading up to a blown save, and Jerry Blevins will take on Christian Yelich, who's 0 for 1 career against him.
He likes to hit against lefties. He's got better numbers against lefties than righties. As far as average-wise, the power numbers all against right-handers. And the Nats infield, to me, is going to be the most interesting thing as Jerry Blevins takes the mound for his 44th appearance. And I'm looking at Espinoza, and I'm looking at Desmond right now, and they're playing in. So they're not going to try to turn a double play against Yelich. Matt Williams has his infield standing out on the grass. And that's because of the speed of Christian Yelich getting out of the box from the left side. They're going to try to cut down the run at home.
Breaking ball misses.
Well, you're lucky this game's still going because on the Echeverria triple, there was nobody backing up third base. It's the pitcher obligation to either back up home or back up third, and Soriano didn't either. Good thing Espinoza didn't throw that to third because there was nobody backing up the play.
And I noticed he didn't move from the mound when Garrett Jones hit the double earlier in the inning. Ball 2. Yelich is swinging a miss on a 91 fastball. late on that 91 outer edge.
Well, I think he was looking in. That swing told me he was looking fastball in, turn and burn. Yelich does most of his damage the other way. Watch the shoulder spin out of there. Or maybe he was sitting soft and swung it hard. Either way, it was not a 2-1 hack.
And a 2-2 pitch. Big curveball, 2 outs.
Clutch.
Now Blevins takes on the right-hander Baker, who came in to pinch hit and stayed in the game.
Huge. It looked like Yelich, a young hitter in a big situation, was in between that whole sequence. He swung at a fastball like he was sitting curveball, and he swung at a curveball like he was looking fastball.
Jeff Baker 1 for 2 career against Jerry Blevins. And he jacks one to left. The Marlins are going to win the game.
Unbelievable.
On a double off the wall. It's their biggest win of the year. A 4-run 9th inning to win 7-6.
That one hurts. That one really hurts. Well, Mike Redmond got the matchup he wanted. He wanted a right-hander facing a left-hander, and exactly what to do. Nothing Bryce Harper could do. That ball was absolutely tattooed, and the Marlins come back from a 6-0 deficit to move within 6 games of the Nationals. And they got some magic going on here in Miami.
It's their 3rd win of the year when they've entered the 9th inning behind. And that was a no-doubter of a double by Baker that drove in Echeverria. All the runs charged to Soriano. His worst moment of the season and one of the toughest losses of the year, as the Marlins do almost all of their hitting. 8 hits in the last 3 innings. So this series off to a horrible start for the Nats. They'll have to bounce back tomorrow night against Steven Strasburg, against Henderson Alvarez. Nats extra at 6:30. This has been a massive presentation. Johnny and Ray next. Try to make some sense out of this one. And from Miami, so long for just a while.